machines come from the factory at about 60 to 70 horsepower, and they're cranking them somewhere over 1,000 horsepower right now, some of them with as many as 3 turbochargers on them. In the 5,000-pound super stock, he leads the line. This will be one of the most exciting classes of the weekend. Drifts a little bit left of center. Everything is working very nicely for him. He calls it Dust Devil, and John, that was a real good straight pull, maybe a little nose heavy out there, but when you're the test puller, that's the way I think you normally like to have it.
You can take a few chances like that when you're the first man to pull, because you know you do have that option to drop later if you want to. He'll be right around 200 feet for that pull. We'll have to wait to see if he decides to take it or not.
Well, our track is 234 feet long, so that will be a full pull. Anybody that can go past the 234-foot mark or the end of the track will be a full pull. We've had a couple of those here already this weekend. The Dust Devil. As we watch the replay here, of course, the lightweight tractors will try to make as straight a runs as possible because that big sled weighing about 40,000 pounds behind the tractors is a lot to pull, but these lightweight super stocks do an excellent job as he pulls off the track. 195, 1.7 for Acton.
Next up in the super stock class, session 3, David J. Marino from Macon, Missouri.
John, this is an Alice Chalmers D17. He has converted it to alcohol, so we're not using the smoke tube here this afternoon. This tractor is a good 20 years old. He's making a good straight run. A lot of these tractors have been converted. The Orange Blossom Special making an excellent pull as we restart the 5,000-pound super stock class. Excellent run, and didn't take quite as much time to hook up to the weight transfer machine because we didn't have to hook up the smoke machine.
So that makes things move along a little bit faster. We did have a restart in the class, and so David J. Marino could be the first official distance of the class. And this is on replay.
This is a real good straight run, very smooth. You can see the big 30.5-inch tires on the rear of the tractor getting a bite. He was bouncing a little bit in the front. He was able to steer. He had it very properly balanced, and that's what you want to do. You don't want to have to pull that sled from left to right all that much because it is a tough load back there, weighing in about 45,000 pounds today. 223, 6.1 the distance. He takes the lead as we restart, and John, looks like they've got a nice sled setting.
On deck now, Dennis Brabec from Lawrence, Iowa, another Alice Chalmers tractor.
The Brabec brothers and family farm about 1,000 acres of corn and soybeans in the northwest corner of the Hawkeye State. Dennis Brabec has been a 5-time Grand National Pulling Circuit champion. He's been in all 13 of the Indy Super Pulls and is a Grand National champion in the 5,000-pound super stock class. It's an AC 180. He has to be, John, one of the favorites in this class. They've won 4 times here at the Indy Super Pull. He makes a very smooth start, although he looks a little nose heavy. The distance to beat, 223, 6.1. I don't know, it's going to be close. An excellent run, but he tended to look a little nose heavy out there, John. The front end of the tractor just never picked up.
And that's a very good run for the weight distribution that he has. If he had been able to get the front end of that tractor up and transfer the weight back, he may have just pulled it right off.
Well, if he had it to do all over again, he might have moved 100 pounds from the front to the rear. Dennis Brabec, former president of the National Tractor Pullers Association.
Here it is on the replay, and as Dave mentioned, you'll see that the front wheels never do really come off the ground during the run.
Well, he's one of the highest horsepower tractors in this class. They've always run very dependable. 224, 7.1. They take the lead by 13 inches. 224, 7.1. Your new leader over David Marino.
With the early pace being set by Dennis Brabec, now we have coming to bat Bert Stauffer from Ephrata, Pennsylvania. Several Pennsylvania pullers here.
Well, from the Pennsylvania Dutch country of southeastern Pennsylvania, the strongest Deutz running tractor in the country today, a Deutz 8006, now called an Alice Deutz, of course, or Deutz Alice, however you prefer, with the merger of the two companies. Bert Stauffer, they've been Grand National point champions before. This, of course, is an air-cooled engine, the tractor built in Germany. Very dependable, very smooth, and they'll give the Brabecs a run for their money. They make a good start. Here again, maybe a little nose heavy, but now they're beginning to pick up. This is going to be a close race to the end. No, they're going to come up short. And they're going to be at least a good 10 to 15 feet short.
And that should land them in third place. Once again, a little bit of lift on the front end of that tractor, but nobody's taking too many chances so far and moving some of that weight back.
John, that's what we've seen this week, that you've got to take chances out there. The track is getting a good bite, but you got to bring up that front end. They don't want to do big wheelies as we watch the replay here. He drifted a little bit to the left, but a pretty smooth run.
And here is the distance. Comes out 208, 11.9. 208 feet, 11.9, and that will be good for third place at this point in the class. Bert Stauffer. Lyle Hall is next up from Waupun, Wisconsin, and he has individual tractor in the class, the only one of its kind.
It's a very special kind, John. It's called a Minneapolis Moline 5-star. Now, in many circles, this would be considered a relic or an antique, but a lot of these guys can pick up a tractor like this very reasonable, do a lot of engine work to it, and make a very competitive tractor. Here it is, an alcohol burner, so we don't need the smoke machine, but you can see he just did not have the motor making any power. It was coughing and sputtering down there. He did not go 75 feet, so as the rules state, he'll be able to back up and try it one more time. John, at one time, these super stock tractors were used in the fields at home, but not anymore. They're all professional pulling machines, and Lyle is having trouble bringing off the line. There he catches the live. Now it comes to life. It might be a little late, though, as he heads for our table. Oh, John. And he's going to spin out, and you've got to believe if he could have come off the line with the engine working properly, that he would have been right down there close to a full pull, but he did not have the alcohol air mixture just right. It coughed for the first 75 to 100 feet before it came to life.
This will be a replay we'll want to take a look at. The Northern Star, he calls it, and there you can see early, there it catches right there, right around 75 feet, and drifts towards the left side of the track and nearly went out of bounds. He had to pump that brake. You
could see his right foot was really pushing hard on the brake, and sometimes it's hard to bring it around, even though they've got pretty good brakes on them.
And it comes up as a 187 and 2/10 of an inch. 187 and 2/10 for Lyle Hall. James Parker is next up in one of the Oliver tractors in this class.
It's an Oliver 1650, John. Jim is from Castalia, Ohio, just south of Lake Erie in the Buckeye State. This is a diesel, so they hooked up the smoke machine. Of course, the Oliver brand later on became white tractors. So he's ready to pull the Dave Hager Counter NC Plus hybrid sled down the track now. And this was a very popular tractor in the 5,000 and 7,000 pound classes over the years. A lot of these tractors will run in the 7,000 pound class later on in our fifth and final show here at Indy Super Bowl 13. He wants to build plenty of boost. Some of these tractors in the lightweight classes will build around 100 to 125 pounds. Last night we saw the big heavy ones build as much as 240 pounds of boost. Here he comes off the line. And he's lifting a little bit, making a good run. Oh, it's looking good at the end. Oh, looking great, heading for the corner. Oh, I tell you, John, one of the best runs of the afternoon, and it's going to be close now for the lead.
And Dave, he's spilling oil or water, some kind of fluid from underneath his tractor. Looks like, I can't tell if a hose broke or not, but I could see some kind of fluid dripping down from the bottom of the tractor. That was one of the best looking runs we've seen today. He did get the front end up off the ground a little bit and had it just about where he wanted it, but drifted to the right some.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what this distance comes in at, because the distance to beat is Dennis Brabec at 224, 7.1.
And here it is. It's a 220, 10.8.
John, that puts him in third place. Brabec still in the lead. Marino in second at 223, 6.1. And Jim Parker now goes into third at 220, 10.8.
Jim Acton, who was the test puller in this class from Lynn, Indiana, has dropped 6 positions and is now getting set to pull again.
John, this will be interesting to see whether he can better his original run of 195, 1.7. As we marked it down, Jim Acton with the International 666. Very competitive tractor, and I would say one that the other drivers will be looking at. The Dust Devil, the aluminum wheels on the front and the rear. It's a good-looking Case International tractor as he comes off the line. You'll notice they slip the tractor off the line before they really pour the fuel to it, wanting to get those tires locked into the track. He might have moved a little bit of weight to the rear. He's making a great straight run. Oh, boy. And John, he's going to come up short, but I tell you, it's almost a perfect run.
Yeah,
maybe not quite enough horsepower right there at the end of his run.
And he did beat the old run, the first run he had of the day of 195, and so as far as that goes, the gamble paid off. And as you say, a nice piece of driving right down the center of the track. Here it comes on replay.
Well, of course, we did change the sled after he made that original run because that also put another 30 feet on it.
Sure.
That helped things because we restarted the class, and that's why he dropped 6.
And the distance is 216 feet, 4.7 inches, 216, 4.7. And I believe at first glance that will put him in 3rd place. Dennis Brabec continues to lead the class, and P.C. Long of Bevier, Missouri is up now.
Well, from that French town out there in the heartland of America with his international 686. Now, all of these guys are good in this class. They've got plenty of power. They've got the driving skill. The guy that can get locked in this afternoon has got a shot. PC's won a number of NTPA national and regional events over the years, but he's running rough this afternoon. The alcohol burner is coughing. Believe it or not, look how far he's going. Think what would have happened if the engine had come to life.
It never really did get going, but he's still got a strong pull out of it. It's not going to be good enough to put him into the top 3 positions.
He coughed and sputtered all the way down the track. And get a load of that side shield. Maybe we can get the camera on it, John. It's a beautiful tractor. He's done a lot of work on it over the years.
The Mayor's Toy, P.C. Long from Bevier, Missouri. Here it is on replay. You can see that he never built up much tire speed, didn't get the front end off the ground. He's a little bit nose heavy, and perhaps he's not a little bit nose heavy, but he never got the power to get it up off the ground.
Well, they're running a lot of weight right out there in the front, which normally says that the track is taking some power. That's what it is today. 209 feet, 1.9 inches. 209, 1.9.
The last international tractor in the class, Tom Urmson from Bakerstown, Pennsylvania, in the Pittsburgh area.
Tom's an international, a graduate of Penn State University in engineering, and he knows how to make this alcohol burner come to life. Won a number of Grand National pulls on the NTPA circuit, and he has won here at the Super Bowl before. Tommy Urmson with an international 460. He's coughing and wheezing a little bit, but running pretty smooth. And watch the front end come up. Look at him go! Look at him go! Boy, what pull! And he does it again. That's the way Tom Urmson has pulled for many years of NTPA competition. Wow, John, that gets exciting.
And that was just about as opposite as from the last run as we could get. A lot of tire speed, a lot of power all the way through the run, and got that front end up off the ground. We'll see that on the replay when it comes up. Here it comes.
He really has this tractor properly balanced. Now, he does a dance on the starting line, and all of a sudden the front end comes up, and he's locked in the turn of the tires. And look at him come out the gate. Wow, he's excited.
There, I told you so.
Yeah.
Full pull for Tom Urmson, and that puts him in the lead. We're about halfway through the 5,000-pound super stock class, and Tom Urmson has set the pace now with a full pull. Here comes Ivan Carroll from Clarence, Missouri.
Another alcohol burner. This will bring back some memories for the farmers that are watching this program. Cockshut 570 was a very popular tractor where the rear ends were used in modified pulling. He's having trouble coming off the line. The levee leaper has stopped. He did not go 75 feet, and they're going to say you'll have to back up and try it one more time. John, this is his final attempt now. He's got to make it a good one, and he does. He's off the line. The alcohol burner is starting to come to life, the levee leaper, but he doesn't have the tire speed. The sled is just not moving that fast down the track, and he's going to come to a halt shy of the 200-foot mark. He's got to paint it up very nice, and the drivers take great pride in their tractors. Probably 75% of the drivers in the super stock classes are farmers. They like to have them looking good, even though they may be 20, 25 years old. These tractors, they don't have quite the investment in them as some of the big super stock machines like in the 9 and 12 as he's directed off the track.
And if we see a replay of that one, we'll see a lot of up and down motion in the run. Never did get a lot of tire speed, as you said. And here you'll see him bounce up and down, and he's going to lose even what power he has doing that.
Well, the engine is coughing on him a little bit. He's not getting the proper air and fuel mixture, and it comes and goes, so to speak, at 189 feet, 2.8 inches for Ivan Carroll out of Missouri.
And now we have several Hoosiers remaining in the class, and one of them from Edinburgh, Indiana, is David Chrisman.
Just south of the Indianapolis area where he farms for a living. Dave Chrisman has pulled an NTPA competition for over 10 years with his Alice Chalmers 180. And there's none looks any better than the one he's got right there, all shined up with the silver shields. This guy could do it, John. If you were a betting person, you might put a couple of shekels on Dave Chrisman with the Alice Chalmers 180. He'll make a very nice slow start as those Firestone tires get a bite. Oh, yeah, what a nice start. He brings that clutch out, and it's looking good.
And he's going to spin out right here in front of us a little past the 200-foot mark. He got a little more tire speed. The tire speed didn't look too bad, but never did get the front end up. It doesn't look to be that heavy on the front end.
Well, he's got to come up 50 feet short of a full pull, and that's not normally the way Dave Chrisman runs. Let's see if we can pick up any of the things that might have happened out in the track. Maybe he should have moved 100 back, but these guys have run hundreds of pulls down the track, and they know how to weight their tractors better than you and I do, John, so we can only second guess them a little bit.
That's right. Here it is. It's a 201 3.5, 201 feet, 3.5 inches. And so Tom Urmson continues to lead with the full pull.
Next up, John Deere 4010.
John Deere tractor fans have one chance for victory in this class, and this is it.
It only takes sometimes one chance, John, for Roger Buss out of Napanee, Indiana. John Deere tractors have always been feared if they can get them light enough for the 5,000-pound super stocks. And when we broadcast the 7,000-pound class in our fifth and final session, we're going to see even more John Deeres who are really tough in the 7,000-pound class. But of course, Deere, I think, maybe nationwide, has been somewhat the sentimental favorite over the years. And it's been a rough road to hoe the last 7 or 8 years in NTPA competition against the internationals. But I think Roger's got as good a chance as anybody. Here again, it's an alcohol burner. We've had about 3 or 4 of those in the class, and they've looked pretty good if they can iron out the bugs and get the fuel and the air mixture just right.
Starting to build up the manifold pressure now, and here he's away from the starting line. A nice smooth start. Front end comes up early. Now he's got it up.
Believe it or not, he keeps making a pretty good pull. Can you believe that? If that engine had run right, he'd have taken it right out and made a full pull. He'd have taken it right past the end zone of the track.
But as we've seen with some of the other alcohol burners, it never really did seem like the engine kicked in and got the full power. It was kind of sputtering once again. Here it is on replay.
Now sometimes, John, that works in your favor if the engine does not run right, because you want to get your tires locked into the track. Sometimes if you spin them too fast, you'll set on the top of the track and spin. So it might have worked to his advantage in that particular case.
And he gets a pull of 212 feet, 11.2. 212, 11.2 for Roger Buss, and the only John Deere tractor in the class.
4 tractors to go in the 5,000-pound Superstock.
Time starting to run out in the 5,000-pound Superstock class. 4 more competitors, and now we're ready to see Arnold Baker from Miltonvale, Kansas.
On an Alice Chalmers 180, quick tabulation, John, shows that we have 5 ACs, 3 Olivers, 1 John Deere, 1 Minneapolis Moline, 3 Internationals, 1 Deutz, and 1 Cockshut in this class. Certainly the biggest variety of Superstock tractors that we've seen this weekend. Arnold Baker, Harold Volland, Terry Wood, and Dennis Lucas, the 4 remaining tractors. Oh, he makes a nice start. Oh, he's on it. He's got the tires turning. Front end is coming up. He's properly balanced. This could be close. Go, 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 go. We've got a tie for the lead. A tie for the lead now. Case International and Alice Chalmers have now tied for the lead, and we'll go into a pull-off for sure in this class, John.
Arnold Baker could have pulled the sled off into the pit area with that one. He pulled the sled on past the finish line and had to get on the brakes to stop the thing. A lot of power in that run. Here's the replay.
Well, the Kansas puller's excited, very jubilant down there at the end of his run as we watch the replay. He went to the left. A lot of guys, in fact, the entire weekend have pulled to the left. What he's doing right now is heading for the corner, and he made it. He kept it in bounds by about 4 feet.
And so, Arnold Baker and Tom Urmson will be in the pull-off, and we're yet to see if there will be anybody to join them.
Well, the last 3 trackers, Harold Volland, Terry Wood, and Dennis Lucas, are all top-notch competitors. We could have more.
A couple of Oliver tractors left in the competition here in this class. Harold Volland of Columbus, Indiana, has one of them.
Well, it's one of the best running 1952 tractors that you'll ever see, John. Oliver 88 was a very popular brand. We don't see quite as many nowadays as we did 5-6 years ago in the 5,000-pound Superstock class, but he's a good one. Harold Volland out of Columbus, Indiana, just south of Indianapolis, is on it. Boy, look at him cranking it. It's an alcohol burner. John, I thought he might have enough for the end, but not quite.
Probably the best performance by the alcohol-burning engines we've seen in the class. A good strong pull. And,
except for Tom Urmson.
Right, yeah. right. The name of the tractor is Repeat, so that makes you think that Pete must be somewhere.
Well, I'll tell you, Pete is going to be coming up, and we'll see Pete in just a little bit. It'll be the sister tractor of the Oliver 88 we see going down the track right now, Harold Volland.
And as you can see, a good strong pull. Not a lot of lift on the front end. He never did get up very high, but he's going to come up with a pull of 220 feet and 1.3 inches. 220, 1.3 for Harold Volland. Next up is Terry Wood. I believe he's from Fountain City, Indiana.
Well, Terry's an engineer for Allis-Chalmers Corporation, a graduate of Purdue. He knows the inside of this 301 cubic inch motor as well as anybody because he's worked on them and helped engineer the design of it. And this guy is a cool, collected player in this super stock game of tractor pulling with his AC 190. He is one of 5 AC 180s and 190s here today, ready to turn it loose. He's the guy to watch. Only 2 to go yet in the class as he gets ready to pull the counter sled, weighing in at about 45,000 pounds this afternoon. He comes off the line. He turns it. He's got to work the brakes. Look at the wheelie. It's going to be close. Going to be close. John, just 100 pounds of weight on the front would have kept it down, but he got to bouncing up and down, losing the drawbar, and he's only going to be short about 10 feet of making a full pull. Little disappointing. You can see him gritting his teeth out there as he raises his hands, signaling that his hands are off the controls of the tractor. It looks good in the first half of his run, John, except he got erratic. Then the front end came up, and he missed the weight by 100 pounds.
Front end got very high, and here's the distance. It's 221 and 2.9. 221, 2.9 for Terry Wood. One more competitor. Dennis Lucas in an Oliver tractor is the last competitor of the class, and if he wants to continue, he'll have to get the full pull.
Well, they have already brought in now Tommy Urmson and Arnold Baker, the 2 tractors that are in the pull-off so far, as they warm up their diesel tractors, an alcohol burner over there. So Dennis Lucas, the other half of the Volland and Lucas team out of Seymour, Indiana. And Harold Volland and Dennis Lucas, just 2 of the fine gentlemen in NTPA competition that we've ever seen. And they've gotten the most out of these Oliver 88s over the years. They've also run an Allis-Chalmers on several occasions. This is the Pete. We've already seen the repeat. And the green flag comes out from our starting flag, but Andy Main on the 75-foot mark. Here we go now. It's going to take an awfully good run for Dennis Lucas as it comes to life. The alcohol burner, he's got some speed. Got some speed. If he can keep that engine running, keep pumping the air in there, keep pumping the fuel. Close, but not quite enough, John.
Awfully close. Awfully close. He had a good, strong run. Another good performance for the alcohol burner.
He can be very happy, and he made a good straight pull as we get ready to watch the replay here.
Not a lot of lift on the front end on this one. But as you say, the engine did jump to life, and he pulled it very close to the engine.
We're getting ready for the
stock. Tom Urmson and Arnold Baker in the pull-off.
International versus Alice Chalmer, a real dogfight right here to the end. One's a diesel. This one is the alcohol burner of Tommy Urmson. So here we go. It's the pull-off. We get right down to the nitty-gritty of the sport. We're going to find out who's champion here for session 3 of the 5 Super. As Urmson comes to life, the front end is up. I tell you, John, it's going to be a tough run to beat.
That was a good pull. He's spewing a little bit of fluid from the back part of the engine. I saw a little bit dripping from the bottom as he was bouncing up and down. There was quite a bit of up and down motion on that run.
They speeded up the gear in the weight transfer machine on the sled of Dave Hager's old Ironside, and the box just nearly topped out, and he stops just past the 200-foot mark. So that meant when they changed the gears, that they adjusted it about 50 feet difference, a 50-foot margin. As we get the distance, 203 feet, 7.4 inches for Tom Urmson from Bakerstown, Pennsylvania. And you can see the replay there as he is at the end of his run. Good pull. It's going to be a tough one to beat, but the guy that can do it, he's been there before, Arnold Baker.
Arnold Baker has to beat a distance of 203.7 inches.
We've had an extra pound super stock. Anytime that you can set the sled that you have only 2 out the gate, and that's a credit not only to the tractors that are pulling the sled, but also Dave Hager, the operator of the NC Hybrid Plus sled, old Ironside. So here we go, the final competitor, Arnold Baker. He's got to beat 203, 7.4 if he wants to win it. He comes off the line, tires screaming. Down the left-hand side, it's going to be a close race to the finish. It's going to be close, very close. And John, it's too close to call right now. We do not have a footage marker on our side of the track, but I'm going to say that this is within 18 inches to 2 feet.
We'll have to wait for the laser on that one. They placed a checkered flag at the mark that he had to beat, and he is very, very near to it. They're right in front of us here. We don't have the reading yet. It's a good run. Here it comes on replay.
We're using the laser measuring system, so we'll get an extremely accurate record here this afternoon. Arnold Baker, I think, making a very fine pull. Here again, a lot of the pullers have been pulled to the left-hand side of the track as he pumps the brake. They don't want to touch the brake as if they can help it. And John, we have just received the distance. There it is, your winner, 205 feet, 4 inches, Arnold Baker. And Alice Chalmer has beat Tommy Urmson here. Arnold, you look calm and collected here at trackside after winning the 5,000-pound super stock, but I know inside you're a happy guy.
Oh yeah, this is it for
that full pull earlier this afternoon. Did you think that you had a shot of tying him?
Oh, if the tractor ran all right and everything went good, it could.
Were you getting a good bite on the track?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's a real good track here.
Taking a lot of horsepower?
Yeah, maybe more power the second time. Seemed like it pulled harder.
Well, congratulations to Arnold Baker of Missouri.